Hey everyone, and welcome to another installment of Tom's World. Today we are back in the Neshaminy State Park to check in on the garden. Now I've been waiting for the garden to be mowed, and I know it is because I just did it yesterday, and it looks awesome. And now you can get to see all the different things that are blooming in there and all the new plants that they put in. So let's get in there and check this out. Here we are, the entrance to the garden. The path that the volunteers had made last year, still holding strong. Looks awesome. The outside does need to be mowed a little bit. I was more concerned about the inside, but I'll get to the outside at some point. Freshly mowed. Love it. So when you first come in, you can't help but see this pond area here. It's always an eye catcher when you come in, especially with these plants. I don't even know what they are. I guess some kind of grass or something. I have no idea really, but they thrive in this pond because underneath the rocks, the water is still there, and they love that constant flow of water. The ornamental grass on the outside here, it's taken its time coming back this year, but you can plainly see it's starting to grow, and I love these things because they have those little pink furry things on the end of them, and they're really pretty. Over here on this side of the garden, which would be the right side when you first come in, you can see it's pretty well overgrown on the other side of the fence. We do have plans of trying to mow this down. This is the area where the mansion used to be that was owned by the Logans. And it started right up around here and went all the way down that way somewhere. I'm not exactly sure how long it was. I know that as time went on, they added onto it. And you could see, when you find pictures of it, you could see where the different sections are that were added on. Man, I just love admiring my work. May not be the best mow job, but you know, it needed it really, really bad. Okay, so first let's check out the cold frame, raised bed garden, whatever you want to call it. I always say that. You can see a lot of things are growing. And most of this stuff is from either last year or the first year that we had put these in. And man, are they coming back. Now, I can't remember what every single one of these was. I know that this right here is the same thing that's over in the pond. That much I know. And I know that this right here, that's a bee balm. I don't know what that is in front of it. That's a new plant, actually. Some of these just don't look familiar. I think that's a coneflower, and that these are black-eyed Susans. These two back here are, I'm trying to read the tag. I just can't read it from here. Oh, they're phlox. That's right. How could I forget that? So these two are phlox. This, I'm not sure. I know, I'm bad. You know, I used to know all these just by looking at them, but now there's so much new stuff in here that it's hard to keep track of sometimes. Back here, you see all these little sprouts. Those are all the different cardinal flowers. You might remember the very first year, we had one in there. And that was actually the very first flower that was planted by the volunteers back when I was still part of them, before we even purchased any other plants. And here we have various phlox, black-eyed Susans, coneflowers, but of course, my favorite, the maroon and white columbines here. I forget what the actual name is, but you know, I don't know if any of you remember when we first planted these, there was just one plant somewhere. One of these was just like the main plant, and it has spread out quite a bit. But I do love these. They're very, very cool looking. And they now have some newer columbines in here that seem to be just like a greenish yellow right now. That doesn't mean that's what their color is going to be as they get bigger, but we have some newer stuff back here, some older stuff. That's a black-eyed Susan. That, it says beard tongue. That's a funny word when you think about it. Is that a beard that's on a tongue, or a tongue that's on a beard? I know, dad jokes. I know. Over here in the fountain, you might remember last year they planted some ferns and some, I think they're called bleeding hearts. And those are doing very well. Ferns are coming back pretty good. Looks more green through the viewfinder of my camera, like my phone, than it does in person, but still cool looking. And then right in front of the fountain, we have various different plants here, of which I do not know what they are. If you do, feel free to put it in the comments. And if you're one of the volunteers, don't cheat, because I know you know. But these ones with the yellow flowers, I don't know if it's just that they got too tall and they're laying down, or if maybe a deer was in here and was laying on them. I'm not sure. Love this place. And in case you were wondering what this one plant is here on the outside of the bricks, that's a daffodil that was just transplanted from over there somewhere. And this year it actually did get a couple of flowers on it, although all the daffodil flowers are now gone. So I wish they lasted longer in the season. Now we have some other plants here by this tree. Nothing around the new tree, which is good. You know, we don't want to interfere with that because that's doing very, very well. We have some new plants here, and you can always tell where the newer plants are in situations like this because they have sticks, I guess, just to let us know, the people that are mowing and stuff like that, or maybe easier for their newer volunteer to see which ones need to be watered, something like that. Over here right in front of the raised bed garden, we have some more, I'm guessing daffodils, but wait a minute, no, they're not. I don't know what these are. They have like little pods on them or something, like, don't know what that is. Huh. I don't know, maybe it's some kind of mutant daffodil. Who knows? And various other new plants around here. Once again, there's no tags, so there's no way for me to know. Over here we have the Solomon seal that was planted. Was it planted the first time last year? I'm not sure. It might have been the year before. But this year they look amazing. They're huge, comparatively anyway, to what they were. But they have these little flowers that dangle down. I like them. We'll move on down to the next tree here. Some other plants growing in here. Some with the leaves, especially on the far end over here. They kind of resemble coleus. Not sure if that's what they are. I don't know if coleus grow flowers, and these have like little flowers growing out of them. Maybe they do. It's been a long time since my days at the Burpee Seed Company, so it's hard to remember every little detail about plants. I wasn't involved in the agricultural end of things. I was in the technical side with the websites and stuff. So, but still, it's looking awesome. Then heading more towards the center of the garden, we have all the ferns, some of which were transplanted from just on the other side of that fence before all the clearing happened back there, and some have been brought in and bought, like purchased at a store. And there's been, like last year, I think a couple of the ferns on the far side there, unless these are new ones, I think they weren't doing as well for whatever reason, or maybe it was the year before, and that could have been, you know, transplant shock or something like that. But now they seem to be standing upright, because I think it was last year they were more laying on the ground. They weren't growing upwards, they were like growing outward. Now they seem to be growing up, which is good. And some more daffodils here, and then more of my favorite flower, columbines, with a hosta in between them. Flowers growing on these, but they're really sharp looking, I think. And we have another hosta there. There are random hostas throughout the garden, mostly on the other side over there. But then you have this. This, to this day, this still astounds me. I mean, to think about what this mound looked like when I first came in here. This was like nothing but weeds, and that's about it. Like all different kinds of weeds. You didn't see any hostas at all. And then once I had the help of the people that joined the volunteer team, and they were pulling out the weeds out of here, later that year these all started growing, and each year that goes by it gets more lush. It's so awesome. I love it. The wisteria bush. Now the flowers are starting to go a little bit, but they smell amazing. I wish I had the ability to transfer smell through the video. And I'm sure somewhere in there the little seed pods are starting to form, as they always do. I just wish there was something for this to grow onto, because this particular bush likes to climb, and it has nothing to climb on. It still thrives every year though. I think, was it last year, it got flowers on it 3 different times through the year, and I think it's only supposed to do it once, maybe twice. So it's obviously happy. And the bees love it. And of course, there's the chessboard. As I've commented before, the grass isn't doing the best. I mean, it's still looking good, as you can see. But upon closer examination, you can see some balding spots, thinning spots, and some more than others. I think down here, this one, since the beginning, has been the worst. And the main reason for it, that we believe anyway, is that the grass that was donated to us very graciously by Harry Downey, I think that it might have been the wrong kind of grass. It might be full sun grass, and as you can see, this area gets a lot of shade. I think it only gets like some of the morning sun. It's weird how vibrant the colors look through my camera. There's some more hostas there, which started growing and have spread actually over time, once a bunch of weeds were taken out of there as well. And of course we have the sundial with at the top, handcrafted by Robert Logan. It's got symbols on every corner. This one, now of course this one here is a cane, and that's easily looked up online. This one, I cannot for the life of me find anything online that resembles this to know what it is. It might be a combination of 2 symbols, I'm not sure. On this side we have an ankh, and then over here is a face of an owl, and on top of it used to be a sundial, and that used to sit way down there at the end of the house, the end of the mansion. There was a line of trees on either side, pine trees I believe, and they went all the way down and then formed a circle at the end, and this thing sat in the circle. And if you look up pictures of Sarobia, Robert Logan, sundial, you'll find them where he's standing with it. But you will also find pictures of him over here at this sundial, which has always lived here in the garden. Now when we first started coming here, there was no face, or whatever that's called, on top of the sundial, the actual sundial itself. That was added by one of the other volunteers who received this as a present for his birthday, specifically for the garden. It was put up once, and we had it facing the correct way. We had to calculate things, and we figured out which way it was supposed to be facing, but the stuff that was used to put that on there over the winter, it kind of gave out. So the following year it was put back on, and it's on there for good now, pretty much. And it was accidentally faced in the opposite direction, but that's fine, because this isn't really for accurate telling of time. This is more for, you know, aesthetic, like to make it whole again. And it's a pretty sundial, I think. It's got some water in it right now, but you know, and it goes along with the theme. You know, it's got leaves and stuff like that, so it's pretty cool. And of course there's the playing cards. They're looking awesome. So I had mentioned it in previous videos here that they reassembled the best they could the spades, and then they painted them white. And the reasoning for that was so that when they filled it with black, they would stand out more, which they do. It looks awesome. So you have the 7, the 2, and the 5 of spades. Each one of them representing one of the 3 cards that Alice first met when she went to the Queen's Castle that were painting the roses red. No, not the Disney version, the actual book version. They were spades, the 5, the 2, and the 7. And I remember making the video when I finally finished this, because I took on this project, and it was partially uncovered, but like it still had a lot to go. But I took on this project while the other volunteers were still working on the chessboard. That way I gave them the opportunity to work in the shade, and this area, sorry for the spinning, this area over here was more so in the sun. But that's okay. Little did I know at the time, being out in the sun like that was prepping me for a job that I was to get, which I still have today, working in this very park. Of course, this isn't the only place that we take care of. The Rangers patrol here. They patrol over in Croydon at the marina. They also patrol over at Benjamin Rush State Park. And we also do the mowing and everything over at Benjamin Rush State Park. So over there we have brick storage, extra stuff that we had found. And over here we have this piece of ancient machinery. It's a cultivator, I believe. And as you can see, and I've pointed out many times, nature is taking it back. And this is where it will stay. This is where the Logans left it. Maybe they intended for the trees to take over it. And it most certainly has. And of course, Mr. Dumpty. He doesn't look any worse, but he doesn't look any better. I know that the volunteers are currently trying to work on this. They're trying to find somebody that could be employed or would possibly volunteer their time, who knows what they're doing with this stuff, so that we can recreate him accurately and make sure he stays that way, to the best of their ability anyway. Would be great if somebody would just donate their time that's like an expert in this stuff and could totally recreate it and make it look like it was never cracked. Although there is some kind of poetic justice, you know, Humpty Dumpty falling apart while he's still sitting on the wall instead of having a fall. But he's not going to fall. There's so much rebar up his butt, he's not going anywhere. And just below Humpty Dumpty we have some hostas and some flowers growing in here on either side. And we have some stuff growing on the outside. Looks like more hostas and coleus, if that's what that is. And just outside the garden on the other side of the path, there's some new trees that we put in there last year. They're doing pretty well. It's hard to get to right now, and the grass is pretty high in there, but I should be attending to that hopefully this week sometime. And then we have the only remaining building of Sarobia. And a lot of people ask me what this was. Now I know the basement served as a pump house, most definitely. As far as the first floor, it could have been storage. It could have been something for the groundskeeper, or it's quite possible it could have been just a little guest house that they had that people could stay in if they didn't want to stay in the mansion with the Logans. It's really hard to say. I've been in the basement of that place, and I've been in the first floor, and there's a definite old feeling to it. And on the outside, you can see that they have rocks going around this tree. So little by little, they're improving the outside of the garden as well as the inside. What they would like to do for where the mansion was down here is they have right now, they have stakes in there mapping out where they believe the mansion was, as far as like width and length and things like that. And they would like for us to be able to mow in there. We just have to do like a final check, make sure there's no big branches or rocks or anything. That for the most part, the volunteers have gotten all that taken care of, but in the name of safety, of course, we have to do that before we take our equipment in there. And if we can mow that down everywhere but where the mansion was, because there's a huge ditch in there from, I guess, where the basement was. We couldn't get our equipment in there, because if we did, we wouldn't get it out. But we'll try to mow everywhere else. I know the soil was pretty soft there the first time we all went in there, when I was still part of the volunteer team. But maybe it's not a problem for the equipment we have, hopefully, because I'd like to see that all mowed down too. So as I make my way back towards the parking lot, you could see the pool's over here. There's a squirrel over here, scared the crap out of me. What's up? What? You're gonna come at me? No? Too preoccupied looking for nuts or something. Anyway, so you can see the swimming pool building over here. It's not going to be long before that's open, and it will be open in the beginning only for the weekends, until the kids that work there get out of school. Then it's going to be open 7 days a week. So if you're looking for a peaceful visit to check out the garden, I advise you to do it soon. And once that pool opens, I mean, it's mostly peaceful here during the week. And in the heart of the summer, yeah, we do get summer school buses or whatever they are, camp buses and stuff like that. And it can get really loud, because even though the pool's way over there, when you're in the garden, you can hear all the kids screaming. And then when they make the announcements over the PA systems, you can hear that too. I know that from even when I first started coming here. As I made videos, I had to stop them every time the guy was making announcements over the loudspeaker. So anyway, if this is your first time here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Once you do that, hit the notification bell. That way you'll be sure to be notified as soon as I upload new videos or do live feeds, which I have been doing quite a bit. I was originally only going to do live feeds like once a month maybe, but it's like once a week now. And with those, it's just, a time to hang out and chill, talk. You can give suggestions on places to visit, things like that, ask questions about places I have visited, and we could just hang out. Also, if you could do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button right below the video, give it a big like, that would help me out greatly. Also, the thing I keep forgetting to mention, make sure you go check out my merch shop. There's a link for it in the description. I have a couple different designs in there right now. I have my logo, and I have it on t-shirts, hoodies, hats, all kinds of things, mugs, water bottles. I also have another design up there right now. It says Exploring is Life, and I'm going to have multiple designs up there as time goes on. And I've recently lowered the prices of all of my products, so that I'm not really making much off of them, but just so that it's more affordable for everybody. And yeah, just check it out. If you like it, buy something. That'd be awesome. Anyway, I guess that's about it. So I'm going to get out of here. I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.